When we first became a step family, just like you, we didn't quite know what we were getting into.
Scarlett and Randall Tandy here from Enjoying Your Blended Family, and we have been a blended family for over 15 years. And not only did we have to figure out how to handle the day-to-day struggles that come with being in a step family, about 7 years in, our biggest fear happened and each of our kids went to go live with their other parent.
We went through seasons of zero connection with each one of our kids, and we had to get really creative on ways to reestablish and reconnect those relationships.
And through prayer and becoming very intentional, God restored our family in true God-like fashion and made it better than we could have ever imagined or hoped for.
So God has called us to help other families do the same thing, to make those connections. So if you're looking for stronger relationships, deeper connections, and more communication, then we believe it truly starts with being intentional and creating these fun opportunities in our family.
Click the link so that you can get quick access to the process that we use to help you find common interests in your family so that you can be more intentional on spending time with your kids, your spouse, and your family as a whole.
We believe you can take the step out of step family and create a blended family that you truly enjoy.
You can find our podcast on Enjoying Your Blended Family on YouTube or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And while you're sitting there, go ahead and follow us on social media.
So when you have more fun, you'll see less problems. Hey, welcome. We are so glad you're here. We're excited for this Enjoy the Journey.
Yeah, way to go.
So this is going to make, not even hopefully, we know this is going to make it an easier process for you. We have really given you a lot more resources to make this easy. So that's the whole idea with all of this, is to make it easy, but to make it fun, to make fun just that thing that is your family. You're focusing on just having fun together.
Yes.
So what you got is that first introductory video. That video is just giving you the overview, right? It tells you everything. It walks you through every part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it walks you through all that. It gives you the why behind each part. So it's so important. You want to watch that and really get exposed to it. Mm-hmm. But now that you have the ultimate edition, what these videos are doing is we're basically walking you through step by step, part by part, and we're doing an example. That way you've got it easy. We're walking it with you. So it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. Now, with the Ultimate Edition, you've gotten a few things. So we want to kind of do just a quick housekeeping before we start diving into part 1.
All right, so I want to stop and pause right there because Randall's fixing to go into describing the resources that go along with what we're going to be sharing all summer, called How to Enjoy Your Blended Family. And as he goes into the details about each one of those things, I want to make sure you know where you can get them. So be sure to check out the show notes or look in the caption if you're watching this on YouTube and click on those links. I'm going to go ahead and put in the PDFs free for you. This is all part of a course that actually costs like $100, but for this summer, we're giving it to you just so that you have the resource for your family so that y'all can be at your best this summer. You also have the option to get the ebook / the audio version of the ebook, which is available on Amazon. So if you want the full package with it all laid out there in front of you, go ahead and check that out so you can just sit there and scroll and read. Or if you're more like me where you like to listen to the audio, go ahead and purchase that. That's the only thing that costs, but everything else, the things that he talks about, it's gonna all be in the links below that you can click on and download for easy access, so that when you get started over the next few weeks to follow the Enjoy the Journey process, the How to Enjoy Your Blended Family comes with a process built into it called Enjoy the Journey. That is the resources that we're giving you today.
So you will have received our resource guide. Okay, now this resource guide, if you didn't have this, you'd have to get your own notebooks and keep up with everything that you're learning, and each one of these parts you're sitting there going and making sure you don't lose it. We put it all here in a simple guide for you to where it's also fillable. So whatever you're flavor. If you like keeping it on your phone, then you can fill it in on your phone or your computer. Or if you're like me, I like printing everything out.
He does.
And I like writing it down. I just pen and paper. That's just me. So, however, whatever works for you, however it's best for you, that's what you can
So
do.
he did lay it out. He laid it out in a way that it's going to be so easy to follow along and do each of these steps. So
Yeah.
Use the workbook, utilize it.
And each one of these videos, like I said, we're going part by part. So really, you could watch this part 1 and then go do part 1 and then come back and watch part 2. That way it's fresh in your mind. You're not watching all of them at once. Or you may want to watch them all. You may want to watch them a few times. So whatever works better for you. That's why you have it. It's yours. So we're trying to make this as easy for you as possible. And we're all different. We all learn different. So that's the cool thing about it. So you got the resource guide. This is the worksheet. And then what we've also given you is we've given you our prayers. So this is our prayers and family script, family hangout script right here. So this is another thing that you have. Maybe you're new to prayer. Maybe prayer is still a little scary for you, or maybe you're like crushing it at prayer, right? So either way, what we've done is in each one of these parts, we always recommend going to God and just praying before you get started. Mm-hmm. And whenever it's my time, I'm praying by myself. When we're coming together as a couple, we're praying together as a couple, which can be a little challenging if you've never done that. And then we're praying as a family. And so it's just a way to really help you in your prayer life to keep God in the middle of everything you're doing. But we've given you scripted prayers that you can pray. You can use them. You can use them as guides. You can just use it as a thing that you're reading and just believing, right? So that it works, but many ways in that. And then we've also given in part 3, the family hangout, we've scripted that out. So maybe whenever we say, hey, now you're going to get together as a family, you're like, you're like, I don't know what to say. We made it easy. So really, we scripted it out to where you could just read it if you wanted to, or you can just see the flow and then you're like, oh, okay, I got this. And then you can run with that too. So you can do it either way, but it's there for you. It walks you through that process. So you're not having to guess or figure it out. So that's part of the great benefits of having this Ultimate Edition. It's there for you, more resources, more tools in your hands. Also, we've included the family games, the 5 family games. So you will have received this as well. You got access to that. And all of these, you can, like I said, you can keep them on your phone, your computer, or you can download them and print them out, whatever works best for you. But these 5 family games, we say in part 3 to do an icebreaker game. Well, we give you 5 games you could use. You could pick one of these, and then the others you can do at other times, maybe whenever you're doing other family hangouts. That's the cool thing. All these are blended family specific. So these help kind of discover each other a little more, and it doesn't create that division like if you were playing Monopoly and you got people teaming up and you're all out, and that's creating that division. By the end of Monopoly, somebody's flipping the board over. So you don't want that. You don't want that. You want games that are going to bring you closer together, help break down the walls instead of putting them up.
Yeah,
right?
When we designed the games, we did it with that in mind, that as you play the game, you're paying attention and noticing and finding these common interests just in playing the game simply before you even are getting into all of the questions.
Yeah, it really is. It's so good. And man, you're going to have so much fun. I'm telling you, we're so excited. Can't stress it enough. Then you're also getting the calendar. So we made a calendar here, and this is one that you can print out every month. It has it to where you write in the year. So you can sit there and write in your every year. You could have this for if you wanted it forever.
2035, still using it.
But whenever you go to create your plan in the last part, we use a calendar. We want you to have a calendar. That way you can put things on it and make them happen, right? And we always love putting a calendar in our kitchen on the fridge. That way we all see it and we all know what's coming up. So this is just another tool that you can have that you can fill out when it gets to that time.
We don't want anything to make this harder or complicated. So we've tried to think through every single thing that would make it simpler for you. So this, you may already have a calendar, use that, but this is just another resource added in so that you have it at your disposal.
And even these calendars, if your kids are a little older, now you can use that with them as well. Maybe they're hanging one up in their room or something to where they're seeing it as well too. So, you could do it so many different ways. And then the other thing that you got is the family scriptures.
Oh, I love this one.
This one is in the ebook. We give a lot of scriptures, but we kind of reference them. But here we've got them all spelled out. So we have them spelled out to where you can cut the whole scripture out and you can put it in a place that you see all the time. The bathroom's a great place. In the mirror when you're brushing your teeth, you're seeing that scripture every morning. I recommend taking just one at a time.
Yeah, I was going to say, you may not want them all like everywhere.
Take one at a time and put that up. And that's the scripture that you're praying over your family for that length of time, whatever you feel, right? So maybe it's for a week or a month, but every time you see it, you're reading that scripture and saying, God, I'm believing this over my family. And it's just a way to put God's word in your heart and pray over your family. There's power when we do that.
Yes.
So that's there for you. Another great place is your car, like right whenever you get into your car or on the fridge. So there's all different kinds of places. So you got that. You also have the audios for these videos. That way, maybe you've watched this, but it's like, man, I really want to hear it again. So you can go listen to it anywhere. You got the audios. So that's really cool that you got that as well. And then you're also in our private Facebook group. So that's another place that we can stay connected, that we'll continue pouring information out, but it's more like a connect group. That way we continue pouring in our wins, our failures, or maybe I'm struggling here, any advice, things like that, to where we can continue to stay live and connected there as well. So you've got all that. That's part of the Ultimate Edition. So excited. Are y'all ready to dive in to part one?
Heck yeah, I am. Now, before we get back to it, I want to share with you another resource that we found that you're going to want to utilize for your step family this summer. Check it out. All right, summer is right around the corner. And I know for some of y'all that might even be giving you a little bit of anxiety because it means maybe your step kids or maybe even your biological kids are going to be home more, or maybe the opposite of that. And they're going to be gone and you feel like you're going to be missing out on opportunities to spend time together as a family. So I wanted to share with you something that's going to help you be more intentional as a blended family. And I've shared this before, but I just want to reiterate it again. It's something called Get Out Pass. Purchase the Get Out Pass one time for each of your family members, and then for an entire year, you have access to get into all of these different locations. It's different for every city that is partnering with them. You get into that place at least one time for free. You're going to go spend money anyway, so why not save money right now? So right now, until Mother's Day, May 12th, they're doing a special discount. If you use the code BFAM.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So part one is basically there's a few things that you're going to do here, but it all follows that E.N.J.O.Y, right? It's the E.N.J.O.Y. So this is the E, which is explore. So you want to explore your interests. This is a date yourself. So who doesn't want that? But instead of going to a spa or anything like this, you're going to sit there and you're going to date yourself. You're going to plan out a time. So we always say, when you hear this, when you're ready, go ahead within a week that you're going to plan a time that you can have that uninterrupted moment. And we say about 15 to 30 minutes is what this is going to take. But you're doing that, your spouse is doing that, and you're putting it on the calendar. And then that day, that's when you do it. But think of a time to where it can be uninterrupted. Maybe your kids are younger and you're having to do this once they go to bed. Or, maybe this is a time whenever they're in school and you're at home, or, just what works for you. You're taking 15, 30 minutes to date yourself, but you're going to do that. And within that time, you got that time. Then number two, we say create an atmosphere, make it fun.
This is like my favorite part. Yeah. Like take this time to really think like, okay, like Oh, I love it when a candle is lit because it smells so good. So it just brings that joy into your heart. Or maybe you're gonna just sit in a nice bubble bath and just explore all of your interests, but
Just don't
set
drop your electronic. If you're on the computer, don't do that.
yeah, or
Disclaimer.
try to have your paper in the bathtub. But I'm just saying take
Half
some
of it gets wet.
take some time to this to just like decompress and think like this is your time that you're going to have to yourself. And a lot of times we wish like other people, our spouse would be like romantic and set the mood, like set your own mood.
Yeah, set your own mood. Have fun with it.
Mhm.
Whatever that looks like for you. Get your favorite drink, get your favorite snack. Just make it something special for
Yeah.
you. Like we said, every part in this is not just a work thing, but it's a fun thing. It's a date thing. It's a time to take time for yourself, for you and your spouse, for you and your family, right? But the whole time it's purposeful because you're learning a lot that's going to help you in the future to create fun opportunities for your family. That way you are seeing more fun and less problems.
Yeah, and you're enjoying the journey along the way, right? So we're showing you how to do this in this process of this roadmap, but this is something that you can take and you can do in anything in life.
Exactly. And so now you've got it planned. You've got the atmosphere, the days come, and you've got your mood set, you got your candles lit, you got your drink, you got your snacks, you got your paper, you got your resource guide. And before you get started, pray. We want you to pray. We want you to go to God. And if you need help with a prayer, that's what we got the prayer script for. In day one, there's a scripted prayer that is in there. So, you got the scripted prayer that helps guide you, but really you're just asking God, help me explore myself. God loves you so much and he knew you before you were even created. His word says that he knit you together in your mother's womb. He knows the number of hairs that's on your head. So he knows what you like a lot more than you know what you like. And so that's the cool thing about it is whenever we go and say, God, show me who I am, show me who you created me to be, man, you're really setting the mood there. So that's a really powerful thing whenever you do that. And then you're going to get your resource guide and you're going to go to your resource sheet and you're going to sit there and we're fixing to walk you through these steps. Now you can print it out and you can write them down, or you can go to the computer, you can have it up on your phone. We're going to share our screen and just kind of walk through what this is going to look like to give you that example.
All right, here we go.
So, all right. So whenever you've got your alone time, you've prayed, you're here, you're in the zone, you're sitting there, you're having fun. You're like, oh, who am I? So make it fun.
Okay, if you don't know Randall and I that much, like we may say like awkward, inappropriate things, but we also talk about God. So when you said explore yourself earlier, and I talked about a bubble bath, I was like,
not that.
That's where my brain goes. But then you were talking about prayer, and I was like, not the right time to say that.
We're married couples, and married couples, we can talk. God wants you to have fun in all areas of a marriage.
But we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. We're talking explore your inner self. Your inner self, y'all. Where's your mind? Where's your mind?
My bad. Hopefully you're not watching this with your children. So, all right, back to
it. So here we are. This is what you're doing. You're pulling up this sheet, part one, exploring your interest. And you're going to start in that left column on the top. And really, we organize it this way because if we just say, what do you like doing? There could be so many things. So we want to get a little specific. We want to start small. Okay, we want to start with our small interest. What is something small that we like doing? Something that brings that joy, that little bit of joy in your life. When we say small,
tell me something small that you
like.
like.
When we say small, we're talking about something that doesn't take a lot of time and doesn't take a lot of money. So that's kind of what small is. So if we're talking small, you're sitting here and you're like, okay, what do I like doing? What are some little things that bring me joy? Well, one, like for me, is coffee in the morning. I love a cup of coffee. That's one, being able to wake up and drink a cup of coffee. So you're going to write down coffee. Then another one's maybe hammock. I love going and laying out on the hammock.
Yeah, swinging in the hammock.
Swinging on the hammock. That just brings a little joy in my life to take 5-10 minutes and go swing outside That's a beautiful moment. For me, I love a walk, just walking around the block, get me outside the house, especially if you work inside a lot and you're behind a computer, just getting outside and just walking around the block or walking around the office or something, that's something fun. Or cozy blanket.
That
This
one's
was
me.
hers. So maybe you like sitting on the couch and just cuddling up with
In the
like a
morning,
super
that's like
soft
my
blanket.
favorite thing is like when I'm doing my devotion time is if I go sit down and I don't get my blanket, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I even thinking? And I go get that blanket and it just makes everything better.
Oh, see, look at that. We're
Yeah.
discovering things. And the next one, an afternoon tea. Would you like a spot of tea? Tea is just good, and I love a good hot
I like your
tea in the
accent too.
afternoon. So, it just brings a little joy to my life. You see, and as we're doing this, there's a reason for it, right? Because we're going to start talking with our spouse, we're going to start talking with our kids. But first, we need to know how to communicate us. And so sometimes as parents, we give so much to our families, we forget about us. We kind of put us on the back burner. And as kids, we were so excited, we could do anything. But then whenever we have families, we sacrifice for them, which is a good thing. But we can forget what we like, what we enjoy doing. And just bringing that back up and being able to write it down, that way we can have it and we can communicate it better, is powerful. So this is just the first step in the process, right? And then we move on to the others. So each step, each part just leads and adds to it. So those are your small things. So now, and you'll just list them down. We just listed like 5. You may have a list of 100. That's fine. Just take you a few minutes and just put it all out. What are the small things? They don't take a lot of time. They don't take a lot of money.
And if you're on the digital version, because we've made it where you can type in there is 2 columns so that you can go on this side and give me music.
Music. Love listening to music.
So you can start listing these as well down on the second column.
And if you have more, you can do a comma and then add another one to it. So, and really draw out that line too. So, that version is that. If you're writing it down, you got the whole thing to where, you can just, however you want to write it. Yeah. Some people are like organized. Some people are just drawing like all over the brain place, maps. Like me. And so, it's whatever. It's you. It's yours. Have fun with it. Be excited about it. So now the next thing you're going to explore is you're going to explore your big interest. What are the big things? Now, what am I talking about? Big interest. These are the things that take a little bit more time planning and take a little bit of money sometimes. So you're going to think of things that you like doing that are kind of bigger. So if we were doing it, going shopping. Shopping is something that maybe you like doing. Like shopping is just my thing. I love hitting up every outlet mall there is. That's my thing. So we got that. Maybe bowling. Bowling's a fun thing.
I always forget about bowling.
I know, it's one of those just loves, it's like, man, why don't I bowl more? Every time I go, I'm like, I should just go buy a bowling ball and do this.
Join a league.
Join a league. Why not? So maybe bowling, going to concerts. Maybe you're a music person and you love seeing bands and things like that. Going to the movie theater, going and watching the new movies that are out, or going and catching the dollar, or they're probably not dollar shows anymore. They're probably like $20 shows now. But
yeah, I don't even think that exists.
Yeah, maybe going to museums is your thing. Maybe you love science museums, or you love just art museums, or whatever. Get specific. The more specific, the better with it. So you got that, and maybe you want to dance. I just want to dance. So maybe you like going to the country club, or going into your I don't know. I'm not a club person. So
go to the club.
Going to the club. So maybe that's you, and that's awesome. Maybe God gifted you the gift of dance. My dance is more like this. So, I didn't get that gift, but I wished I had it.
I don't know if you've seen Randall on any of our reels.
I want to dance. So there's a thing with wanting to dance and being able to dance, so.
Well, that kind of moves into the next category with like
interested. Yeah. So after you've done your big interest, now you're going to move into that last section on the bottom of what are you interested in trying? Like, what is something that you've always wanted to do that you haven't done yet. You don't know if you like it or not, but you're always curious.
Like I wanted to learn how to like do couples dances. And so that was one thing I was interested in. And then one birthday, he got us like a video, because there's not video cassettes.
It's a DVD on
Set.
dancing. It teaches you all the
Yeah.
ballroom dances and stuff.
So that we can do that here at the house, but they have classes like that you can go out and do. So something like that, if you want to do a Samba class, then that's something
So
you're interested
you're
in.
gonna write them down. You're gonna be like, I want to take a Samba class. You know, that's I've always wanted to learn that. I want to take a cooking class. You know, I'd love to be able to learn how to bake more or do more cooking. And I say I've got a few things written down just to make sure that we're not missing anything. Maybe you want to skydive. Maybe you're like adrenaline junkie and you're saying, hey, let's just jump out of a plane. Or maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you're like, no, I want to go as low as I can. I want to scuba dive.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you've never scuba dived before. And you're like, I would love to go check out the coral reefs and check out all the sea life that's under there. So, maybe that's you. There's so many different things out there that, as you're exploring yourself, this is part of the fun. It's like, what if I always want to do? Maybe I want to go rock climbing. I've never gone rock climbing before.
That's a good one.
So, it's maybe go hike a mountain. It's all these things that, they can be little, they can be big. It could be, I've never gotten a garden. I want a garden, so it's something like that. It could be whatever makes you just excited and happy. And if you want to travel somewhere, put a place that you want to travel. So, you're exploring yourself, you're just having fun and you're thinking about you and bringing some of that dreaming back into your life. And that's the cool part about this, is that you're just taking time to dream again. So that's what you're going to do. This is yourself. This is your interest. What makes you tick, what you like, right? So that's step one. So you're going to do that. And then you're going to move to step two. And step two is now you're going to explore your family's interest. What do you like doing as a family? There are things that I like doing solo, right? But then there are things that I like doing as a family. Like, I wish my whole family we would do this, right?
Yeah. And you want to make sure you're focused on what you like to do with your family, not like what your family already like that that y'all like to do, but like, what do you like doing with your family?
Like we said, you're going to get a little selfish in this one, and that's okay. You're pampering yourself, and it's okay. We can do that. We need to do that sometimes. So you're going to start thinking about the family interest. And so on the right column at the top, we're going to start again, small, big, and interested, right? Same concept. So now you're going to start thinking, okay, what do I like doing as a family? What are some small things I like doing? I like going to the park. I like going to the park with my family. Whenever we get out there, we just kind of laugh, we hang out. It's really fun. Game nights are fun. I love board games. Whenever we get out there and we just play a board game a night. Family dinners, that's kind of important to me. I love it because we all kind of laugh around the table. So, maybe that's hanging out by the pool if you have a pool, or maybe going to a pool. Playing music, that could be another one. Maybe you play instruments and your family's very musical. So
if
maybe
you don't play music, then this might not be a small one. It might be something you want to try.
Yeah, for sure. So it depends on where that goes on your list, right? So we're just giving examples to kind of get that creativity flowing of you, who you are. It's going to look completely different from what I write down. It's going to look completely different from what she writes down. And so that's the cool thing about this. And so maybe that's it. Maybe it's watching movies. I love watching movies with my family. So we can get that as well. So you're just going to think of all the small things that don't take a lot of time. They don't take any money. So you're just going to write all those down. Then you're going to move to your big interest, and you're going to go and you're going to think, okay, what's something big I like doing? Me and my family, I love it. I love it when we go to the zoo. Like, I have a lot of fun watching my kids watch the animals and just kind of looking at all the different things like the albino alligators and things like that. I mean, just the off the wall things, the monkeys monkeying around. I mean, you can
Zoo expert over here.
The finger monkeys. Have you ever seen a finger monkey? Like, I think they're pocket monkeys or something. They're the cutest things ever. If I could ever get one, that would be just amazing. It looks like a little monkey, but small size. Crazy thing. They're out there. Google it. So,
yeah, they're cute. They're adorable.
But the zoo, maybe that's it. Going to the beach. If you live near a beach, or maybe going to the lake. maybe y'all live near a lake or something like that. So, that's some of the things. Going out to eat. I love going out to eat. I love a good Mexican restaurant. You give me some enchiladas and a taco, and I'm happy. So, that's just
Yeah.
something that, I love doing with my family, to where we can all go and laugh. So you're really just in there and listing your big interest out, right? You're thinking about all these different things that are there that you can do.
I
And
just wrote getting ice cream
getting ice
because I've
cream.
been thinking about getting ice cream.
There you go. So that's what that is. It's your big interest. And then the last thing on the second step is, what are you interested in trying with your family? And that's a cool thing too. So, it could be anything. There was one family that they wanted to do a garden together. So maybe it's making a garden outside that you're doing it together. It could be that, or it could be like, what, I've never been to like a place to where you can go kart. So I'd love to go just go kart and just beat every one of my kids and laugh at them, and just be like, man, look, I'm good. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do that. So, just being silly.
Burn them in the dust.
Vacations. Maybe it's like, I want to go to Colorado and see the mountains with my family. I want to go get a cabin and do it whenever it's snowing, or whatever. This is you. This is what you like. You may be the type to where it's like, no, I want to go to where no shirt, no shoes, no problem. I get me in a beach somewhere. I don't want to be around snow, right? So we're all different. So it's really just, what are you interested in trying or doing with your family? So that's it. That's part two. We got one more step, or no, I'm sorry, part two. That's step two. But now we go to step three. And this is the last step in part one. This is the last thing you're going to do. You're going to move to your next sheet. So that was all of the one sheet. Then you go to the next sheet. And what you're doing here is you're exploring your kids' interest. So this is something that you're doing it for several reasons, but the main reason that you're doing this for is to help your spouse to be able to connect with your kids. If y'all have step kids, we like to call them bonus kids and bonus parents. But if you got bonus kids, this is a great way to help express that to your spouse. That way, now you're starting to form ideas of, how can I connect with my bonus kid? So that's why this is so important. We say you're just doing your biological kid. If you have multiple, you're starting with one and you're going down. As you see on the sheet.
So I'll do Riley since you're the one talking.
As you're doing this sheet, you may have a few. So you may need to print out 2 sheets if you've got more than 3 kids. This sheet has three.
Yeah.
This sheet has 3 kids. So if you have more than 3 biological kids, you'll need to copy and do another sheet. Okay. So just however many. If you got 5 kids, then you do 2 sheets and you just go one by one. Okay. That's what that is. Now your spouse is doing their biological kids, and they're writing the same thing, right? They're doing the same process that you're doing, just they're doing it on their own. They're dating themselves and you're dating yourself.
And if you have an hours baby, then you're both doing your hours baby.
That's right. Because then you're going to compare notes later and make sure, hey, I forgot about that. Oh yeah. And then we got this. So it is your biological kid. So even an hours baby is your biological kid, right? So we like to specify that if you do have an hours baby, you're both doing it. So now you're kid by kid. So you're taking your first kid and you're really just thinking interests. What are they interested in? It could be small, big. That's really what you're on this sheet. You're looking at that because you're going to use this sheet in part 3. So you're going to take this sheet with you later and you're going to add to it because you're going to ask them then. Right now, you're not asking, you're going off the top of your head as their biological parent. You know a lot of things that they like. So really, this gives you a chance just to be able to spell that out. And so you're thinking, you're like, you know what? My kid loves video games. Really loves doing video games. Loves drawing. Really excited about drawing, playing music. Loves playing music, going to concerts. Yeah, going to concerts would take a little more time, a little more money, but you know that they love going to concerts. So you got concerts and soccer. Soccer is like one of their loves. That kid loves playing some soccer. So, you're just doing that and you're just sitting there listing out everything that you know that they like. everything you know they enjoy in life. Like I said, this off your memory. You're going to ask them later in part 3, but right now in part 1, in this step, you're just off the top of your head. And then once you've exhausted that and you're like, okay, yeah, that's all I can think of. Then you move on to kid number 2. And you're like, okay, well, now let me move on because maybe we have 2 kids. Maybe I have 2 biological kids or 3. So you move on to the next kid and you put their name up there. And then you start listing all of their interests, what you know they're interested in or they like doing. So that's what that looks like. And you do that for your biological kids, and that's it. And that's part 1. That's all you're doing. This should take about 15 to 30 minutes. Like I said, it's more, we kind of explained a lot and really walked down just to give you that example of what it looks like. But this is you. And whenever you start exploring yourself, you start getting excited. You're like, oh yeah, I remember I love doing that. Puzzles, I've always loved putting together puzzles. I forgot about putting together puzzles, and so it's kind of one of those that as you're exploring, you're writing it down. That way, now you've got it in a written form. You can communicate that. But the cool thing is, as we progress, we're going to start seeing what our family likes and start finding these common interests so that we can create more fun experiences together. That way, now we're growing together instead of growing apart. We're having more fun so we can see less problems. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So that's part 1. So you're exploring your interests. You're going to explore your interests. You're going to explore what you like doing as a family. And then you're going to explore your biological kids' interests. That's all you're doing in part 1. You've got your time set. You put it on the calendar. You're like, okay, go time within this week. I can do it here. You're creating your atmosphere. You're going to make it a special night, just you hanging out with you. So it's a mano y mano, one-on-one, right? And then you're praying before you get started. You're asking God, hey, come show me who you created me to be, and then have fun exploring yourself. So good stuff. That's part 1.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
And when you join, we also want to give you a free gift. So go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day. Remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family, and we'll see you on the next episode.